already engaging in some early mind games, the Arsenal manager is direct and upbeat about the season ahead.
You see, you can only be successful if you think you can do it, and we have the belief, and that's why we just try to play at the best level we can and try and think we can do it. But how I see things after, if there's somebody better than us, there's somebody better than us, but I believe we can be the best, and we just want to try to be the best.
Arsenal have splashed out more than £20 million on 5 new players in the summer. Wenger feels the new blood will help stimulate success.
The millions are a little bit lower than what I read in the newspapers. We spend not as much money as I read in the newspapers. But of course we strengthen our squad, and we believe that we put young players and players who can help us to be better.
Most summer angst at Highbury has centred on Patrick Vieira and the will he, won't he stay saga. Wenger prefers to pick the positives from the situation.
What is important for me is that what Patrick Vieira does on the pitch, and not what people say or write in the newspapers. Because in this job what is important is facts. And even in the friendly tonight, you see the attitude of Patrick Vieira, tackled for every ball, did fight for every ball in the first half, and had a great first half, and he played this game friendly like a cup final. That's for me much more valuable than any speech in the newspapers.
So on a warm alpine summer evening, Arsenal's resolve will be tested and an important clue given as to their readiness for the new campaign.
Well, our co-commentator out in Austria tonight is Joe Royal. And Joe, I understand that there's been a switch. We expected Arsenal to play a 4, but it's not going to be like that.
No, we understand that they're going to play with 5 in midfield, Steve, with possibly Wiltord going wide and letting anybody who can get forward to support Henry. Maybe with the view to Vieira looking after Totti.
I was going to ask you that, Joe, myself. I'm sure that if they played a flat back 4, that Totti would have acres of space there. And I was also thinking that the midfield that Arsenal got maybe isn't powerful enough without Parlour in there.
I've got to say, I can barely hear you, Paddy. There's such a roar here at the moment. It's hard for me to hear anybody.
Yeah, well, I was actually asking about Ray Parlour not being available tonight. The lack of power in the Arsenal midfield obviously could have been a difficulty. Maybe that's why he's went for 5 as well.
Yes, I mean, but they're very impressed with Van Bronckhorst up to now, and obviously Lundberg getting forward, so they're hoping that they can play from there. It's very hard to hear you.
That's all right, Joe, you did very well indeed. Don't worry about it. You go back to your seat. Well, I think we're going to join Gary Bloom, and we can hand over to Gary now to take us through to kick off. Gary, all yours.
Thanks, Steve. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Alpenstadion in Kapfenberg, home of Serie A champions Roma for the past 15 days. The Italians have taken advantage of some of the best training facilities in Europe, with a hotel, swimming pool, running track and football pitch all on one site. Arsenal arrived here only this morning, and Arsene Wenger has only recently arrived at the stadium in the last hour or so. They have been training near Munich. There are a few key Arsenal personnel missing tonight. Lee Dixon's picked up a knee injury. Ray Parlour has a hamstring strain. And Dennis Bergkamp is already on his way back. Remember, he doesn't like travelling by air. So, Sol Campbell starts his first ever game in an Arsenal shirt. He's recovered from an injury playing against Arsenal for Spurs in last season's FA Cup semi-final. With Bergkamp already in his way back, Arsenal have this, at least in theory, all-French strike force of Henry and Wiltord, but Wiltord will play in midfield. The only other new face is Giovanni Van Bronckhorst. Roma are without the Brazilians Cafu, Zagu and Emerson. Otherwise, this is pretty much a full-strength team. Roma include new signings Ivan Pellizzoli in goal, Sebastian Sevilla, who came with Pellizzoli from Atalanta, and Francisco Lima from Bologna. In attack, one of Europe's most prolific marksmen, Gabriel Batistuta, and just behind him, Roma's playmaker and inspiration and skipper, Francesco Totti. Our match official is local, Stefan Messner. And very shortly, it'll be Roma to get this pre-season friendly underway. It's apt that Arsenal play their most prestigious pre-season friendly in the foothills of a mountain range, because in footballing terms, Arsene Wenger's team are staring up at a mountain. For the last 3 seasons, they've finished runners-up to Manchester United, and it's that summit where this team now has to focus. Arsenal really have spent the summer spending. £20 million has been invested, as that first shot flies harmlessly wide. Arsene Wenger hopes to rejuvenate an aging team. This is a perfect test for them against Italy's #1, Roma.
You can see already Totti dropping off into that little space and receiving a ball to feet and setting Batistuta in, and that's certainly very dangerous for Arsenal.
So Arsenal pressing forward here. Fireworks already in the crowd. All the way through to David Seaman, who, according to the goalkeeping coach of Arsenal, Bob Wilson, is still very much #1 choice, despite the arrival of Richard Wright from Ipswich. The word was that Wright has to displace David Seaman. Robert Perez, who I thought was going to start on the left-hand side of midfield. He's going to play in a central midfield role. Tondela, Nassun Sao, getting it back to Pellizzoli. Jonathan Sabina. Montella. Damiano Tomasi now for Roma. Nassun Sao. It's a great interception. Vieira. Hiltord had made the run, but it's through here with Sevilla, one of the new signings for Roma in the summer months. Here's Walter Samuel, the highly regarded Argentine. Tomasi. And here's the man nicknamed the Prince of Italian football, Francesco Totti. Here's Montella. Batistuta to his left, and Batistuta's offside.
Early passing from Roma, great passing to feet, great movement, and you can see already why they were such good champions last year. But Arsenal will be strong, they look extremely fit, and I know that speaking to Arsene, he's very pleased with their early condition.
Patrick Vieira. Incidentally, Arsenal fly straight home after tonight's game. They'll be back in Luton more or less in the early hours of the morning. They say they'll be delighted to get back home after an 8-day stint in Germany. Roma also head back to the Italian capital after this game, after 15 days here in Katzenberg. Giovanni van Bronckhorst. Intercepted by Sabina. Sabina under pressure though. Montella. Switching the ball to Gabriel Batistuta. How often you see Batistuta do that?
Very unusual. Pre-season rust will put it down to Gary.
Lauren, and we understand that Lauren could well start as a first-choice right back for Arsenal in the coming season. Bad news for Lee Dixon, who's held that role with terrific aplomb down the last 10 years or so.
I wouldn't write him off just yet, but I know they are experimenting with it. They're a little concerned at the moment that defensively he's got a bit to do, but he certainly has the equipment to play the position.
Channy Adams sweeping the ball wide. Ashley Cole taking a tumble on a playing surface which has been criticised by Arsenal. They've actually watered the pitch in the last couple of hours, so it's very bumpy indeed. The problem is we've had very bright sunlight this afternoon. In fact, the weather here has been absolutely gorgeous over the last 48 hours. And it's only now the temperature is just beginning to drop. It's just gone 8:30 local time. Fabio Capello, who was once king of the 4-4-2 formation, but he switched it round for Roma these days. He's playing with a back three and 2 wing backs. Loudon. Foul throw. That looked a tired throw, didn't it, Joe?
Certainly looked a very lazy throw. I think the referee was in two minds whether to give the foul originally, so it was payback time.
Vieira. Just moving up a couple of gears. He's got Henry in support. That's a great ball. Ljungberg! Freddie Ljungberg really should have given Arsenal the lead there. He timed his run from midfield to perfection.
A fantastic opportunity, and Arsene Wenger will be delighted by the movements and seeing a midfield player arrive. A good chance, a great chance actually, but one of Arsenal's problems last year, particularly away from home, was a lack of goals from midfield, and this system could well provide that.
Freddie Ljungberg, who scored in the FA Cup final when Arsenal, of course, were famously Michael Owened by Liverpool late on in the game. Zabina. Sol Campbell wearing an unfamiliar number 10 on his back. I don't expect he'll be wearing the number 10 in the Arsenal squad for the coming season, more likely the number 23. I think Dennis Bergkamp must have loaned him his shirt. Arsenal playing offside here. Wiltord's waiting here if they can pick him out. Well, the ball was eventually delivered, and Sevilla managed to head out Thierry Henry's lovely chip cross.
Fantastic pace from Henry. He is a wide striker, a man who gets his goals from wide positions, but effortless pace, and a pace that Arsene Wenger tells us can do 100 metres in under 11 seconds. A terrific asset.
Sol Campbell forward here for Arsenal. It's over Campbell's head, headed clear by Gabriel Batistuta. Loudon won that little duel with Tomasi. Wiltord, and Tomasi then almost won the ball back. Ljungberg. Only half cleared by Walter Samuel. Henry fell it slowly with a good stop.
It's a terrific start to the game, considering this pre-season, Gary. I mean, there's a great tempo about it in a very, very humid climate.
Thierry Henry has already shown that he's prepared to lead the attack on his own, with Wiltord asked to drop back in midfield. It really is a time for experimentation by Arsene Wenger. Montella, fouled by Tony Adams. Montella takes the free kick a little bit too quickly for the Austrian referee's liking. And in fact, Gabriel Batistuta was offside. Van Bronckhorst. Ljungberg. Tony Adams. Really is dizzy heights currently for Roma, who won the Italian Championship for only the third time last season. Incidentally, the fixtures for the opening day of the Italian season were announced yesterday. Roma begin their defence away to Verona, where they won by 4-1 last season. Gentle start for them. Walter Samuel was being impeded. Lauren just making his life difficult there. Totti. Oh, his vision's terrific. He's trying to pick out Montella there, but David Seaman, still England's and Arsenal's number 1, read it perfectly.
You see the flexibility in their system, though, with Totti going amongst the back three to get the ball and playing a front player in, and the next minute he'll be amongst them. He can be right up there or playing one-off-one.
Arsene Wenger with Pat Rice. Arsenal have been making wholesale changes in their pre-season friendlies they've been playing out here. Sometimes 11 changes at half-time, but we understand that won't be the case in this match. David Seaman getting there in front of Gabriel Batistuta. Loudon. Sol Campbell. That really is the future of the England defence, Campbell and Cole. And here's Ashley Cole now. Arsene Wenger has been talking to the French media about his redeployment of troops in the summer. And his acquisitions costing the club more than £20 million. And he said the theory behind his buys has been to try and find a goalkeeper, central defender, central midfield player and a striker. Strength right down the middle of the team and try and replace some of his ageing England stars. Totti, here's Montella. Away by Sol Campbell. I must say, as a commentator, I can't really say with great ease Sol Campbell for Arsenal. It's almost like a foreign language.
You wait till the derby comes, Gary. There'll be fine language then.
Thierry Henry. Just caught there by Walter Samuel, this tough tackling Argentine, the world's most expensive defender before Rio Ferdinand went from West Ham to Leeds. Roma have been working out at this rather splendid complex in Katzenberg, working on their fitness, working on their overall stamina. They've been training sometimes 3 times a day. They're actually on this pitch this morning doing some possession exercises. Tomasi, Totti. Any sight of goal? And the Prince, Francesco Totti, will have a shot.
Well, it's very ambitious from that distance against the goalkeeper of David Seaman's calibre, but you can see now it's a very, very serious friendly game.
This incidentally Roma's 4th pre-season friendly. They drew 1-1 with the Greeks of Panianios here last Wednesday when Gabriel Batistuta scored. Thierry Henry. Easy for Pellizzoli, I suppose the Richard Wright of Italian football. Italian under-21 international, just left Atalanta. Now in the big time. The only difference is that Pellizzoli is now very firmly Roma's #1, replacing Antonioli, who came with Fabio Capello from his Milan days. Adams. It's a nice pace to the game. That's quite surprising, Joe, isn't it?
I thought it'd be much slower, Gary, to be honest with you, with the heat, and there's an awful lot of early pressing, and it's been played at a high tempo, which is good.
Damiano Tomasi, Zabina. Sevilla. Batistuta.
I'm not sure there was great contact there, but the presence from behind is always a foul on the continent.
I think the last time Batistuta and Campbell squared up to each other, it was that infamous England versus Argentina match, France '98. Here is Batistuta, and he couldn't get the beating there of David Seaman.
Well, it's a strike on target. It's not a great strike, but nevertheless, it's 2 strikes on target from 3 touches from Batistuta.
Of course, both these teams will be in the Champions League in the coming months. It's not impossible they could get drawn in the same group together. Thierry Henry. That's a great tackle.
I must say, Henry looks electric at the moment. He's really up for it, taking people on, surging past people.
Tomasi, Batistuta. Montella's on the edge of the box. This is Totti. Totti, he's pulled it back here. Guigu! Tomasi! Well, Roma just getting into their stride, and they're peppering that Arsenal goal at the moment.
Yes, good into passing. I think it was young Ashley Cole there sold himself, and all of a sudden Roma were in, and they've had 2 great opportunities here from the original pullback, which is blocked to start with, and when he comes back to the edge of the area, I think Van Bronckhorst got a saving tackling, which just saved the day.
Gianni Guigu, number 7 for Roma. Well, a surprise inclusion. Lima, one of the new boys, was expected to play in this game. Francisco Lima. Ljungberg. Goal. Give it away to Asun Sao. Samuel's the back marker. This is Vincent Condelar. I'm sure Arsene Wenger knows all about him. French international. Tomasi. Cut out by Pires. Asun Sao. Guigu. Sevilla, good possession football here by Roma. They don't give the ball away very easily. Tomasi. That was an ambitious ball by Damiano Tomasi. And superbly done by Viltord. Lauren. Pires. Vieira. Pires again. Arsenal too show they can break effectively. Ljungberg. Cut out by Condelat. Vieira. That's a great piece of skill there by Henry to get away from Sevilla.
I think Sevilla's decided to try and slow him down a little bit. It's great to see Vieira back, and it's just as if he's not had a summer at all, really. He's had more touches of the ball than anybody up to now and looked as majestic as ever.
Pires with a free kick. Pellizzoli came, decided not to claim the ball, cleared by Sabina. Sol Campbell. Arsenal caught offside from Sol Campbell's pass. Sol Campbell in an Arsenal shirt. It must send a shiver down the spine of every Tottenham supporter. Ian Walker, who's just left the club, was quoted in the morning papers as saying he thought Campbell was very brave. That was putting it politely. He said he would have not joined Arsenal for any money. He thought the move was just impossible for him. Not that he was asked, mind you, but...
I wonder. I wonder.
How highly do you rate Sol Campbell, Joe?
Well, of the British defenders, he's a great defender. At international level, sometimes it's levelled against him that his passing is an absolutely top class. But he's certainly a great athlete and a great defender. And that's the first job. We've got to stop goals going in.
Pires. Lauren. Lauren. Pires. Totti with a slide rule pass, but intercepted by Lauren. Just wonder how much the tempo of the game will drop as the match goes on. It really has been a draining schedule for both Roma, the Serie A champions, and also Arsenal. Katzenberg is about an hour outside Graz, of course a very famous football team, Sturm Graz, who've graced the Champions League in recent seasons. Most local fans support Sturm. Henry is having his jersey tugged there by the Frenchman Jonathan Zabina, so two countrymen disputing possession.
Definitely getting special attention. Early warnings out that Henry's as fit and fast as ever.
reposted around about the penalty spot alongside Viltord. Campbell's just trotting up from defence. There he is, Sol Campbell. Perez again trying to tee something up here, and he was fouled right on the edge of the box. He was blocked there by Walter Samuel. Wenger has been waxing lyrical about the skills of Perez, saying he can bring the ball so quickly from one end of the field to the other, and his passing is usually spot on.
I think Walter Samuel might have found himself booked in a competitive game. It was a loose leg certainly, and stopped a certain shooting chance.
Watch out for number 16 here, Giovanni van Bronckhorst, who scored in Arsenal's last friendly on Monday against Mallorca. It's Perez standing over the ball. It's Van Bronckhorst, beaten away by Pellizzoli, and a good stop by the young Italian keeper.
That's a terrific strike, Gary. I mean, the keeper's done very well. He stood up, and he must have seen it very late as it came through. An instinctive punch into the air.
Stinging shot there from Van Bronckhorst. Perez. Van Bronckhorst, cold out, round Guigu. Throw in goes Arsenal's way. Ashley Cole, the young England left back, who's displaced Silvinho from this Arsenal team. Well, I wonder what they make of all this back in the studio. We can hear now from Pat Nevin. Pat, what do you think of Sol Campbell's opening 22 minutes in an Arsenal shirt?
He's looked fairly assured so far. Got his sticker, and they're not getting much out of him. But then again, it's all about concentration at this level. You know, he is a great athlete, as Joe was mentioning there. You know, he is a good defender. But at this level, top international players are playing against him. You need concentration for 90 minutes. And I guess the quality of Totti as well. You know, he really had to get his head straight the whole way through it.
Many thanks, Pat. Incidentally, if you want to ask Pat anything or make any comments about tonight's game, you can email us at football@channel5.co.uk. Any thoughts or comments for Pat Nevin? football@channel5.co.uk. Thanks. Totti. Loudon. Headed clear by Walter Samuel. Loudon again. Viltord. Neat triangle of passes by Arsenal. Ljungberg. Kenny Guigu on the receiving end of this challenge from Giovanni Van Bronckhorst.
I don't think there's too much wrong with him there.
So bearing in mind, Joe, that Arsenal without Lee Dixon, Ray Parlour and Dennis Bergkamp, how close to Arsene Wenger's first choice 11 are we watching tonight?
I think very close as well, because there's no doubt that they are experimenting with Lauren as right back, and they have Jeffers to come, who's still feeling his way. Lee Dixon around, as I say, he won't be readily giving his position away, and I think this could well be their starting lineup, or very, very close to it. Of course, there's other players we still don't know the exact future of, players like Canu and Silvino, and you know, they're still there and available.
Rather picturesque building just to the left of your picture there is in fact the hotel where Roma have been staying for the last 15 days. Totti. He was looking for a free kick, but the Austrian official said play on. Loudon. All the way through to Zabina, back to Pellizzoli, whose palms was stung by that free kick from Giovanni van Bronckhorst.
I think you saw there the worst kind of ball that can be played against the back three, and certainly with Walter Samuel reading the game so well, anything straight would just go straight through to him. And he knows the game very well. You can see why he's such a highly rated defender. If Arsenal are going to play longer balls, they'll have to be diagonal.
Sol Campbell. Tony Adams. Damiano Tomasi. Totti, who had a fantastic season for Roma last year, led them to the championship. This is Montella, who often complained about being a substitute for Roma. Marco Del Vecchio was usually preferred in attack last season in league games. It all erupted rather violently in an away game at Napoli, where Montella kicked a water bottle at Fabio Capello. Not a man to meddle with, is he?
How do you spell medal? It's all forgiven when you win the championship, believe me.
Tomasi. Well, if you live by the sword, you die by the sword, because Tomasi's famous for those sort of tackles. So we had no complaints here when Lauren caught up with him. Incidentally, the crowd here, about 8 to 10,000. The town of Katzenberg is very popular with Italian tourists. And bearing in mind Roma have come here for the last 6 years, you can see why so many Italians already made their plans to come here and watch Roma play. Annual pilgrimage. Condelar tried to head that one on, but Lauren got it clear. And Arsenal looking very compact at the moment. David Seaman has hardly made a save in that Arsenal goal so far.
I think Arsene Wenger will be delighted with Lauren's performance now. A saving header at the far post, a last-ditch tackle in front of us, and certainly he seems to be finding his defensive legs.
Very much shirt sleeve weather. Loudon. Vieira. Tall grip. Number 2 to Sven-Göran Eriksson, running an eye on several of the Arsenal team, players like Cole and Campbell. David Seaman as well, of course, still first choice for his country. Ljungberg, dangerous cross, Condelar's there. Condelar doing some good defensive work. No foul on Lauren. Here's Gabriel Batistuta, forward towards Totti. Can Totti get away from Campbell? Yes, he can. Totti. Oh, desperately unlucky. Great attack by Roma.
Great skill there, but I must say that it shouldn't have gone that far. There was a definite foul on Lauren up in the corner here, and the referee is very lax at the moment. He's let the last 2 or 3 fouls go, and you can't let Totti loose like that. Totti's got inside Campbell and got a shot on Tiger, which I think he shaved the outside of the post.
So here come Roma again. Montella struck the crossbar. Vincenzo Montella comes within a whisker of giving Roma the lead. Just before that, Totti had struck an upright.
Yeah, it's a great chance, and he'll be cursing himself for missing this. A free header in the 6-yard box of Arsenal is unheard of, really.
So Roma have shown they can find a way through. Montella. Vincenzo Montella has a lot to prove this season to try and edge out Marco Del Vecchio from that Roma attack. Fabio Capello likes to play with a target man, and he's got that in Gabriel Batistuta. But it really is a matter of who plays alongside Batistuta.
I think the feeling is, Gary, that Montella's a better finisher, but Del Vecchio probably works harder for the team, and who are we to argue with Capello?
And here's Totti. Now, you don't see that very often. Here's his chance again for Totti when he just shaved the upright. I think credit to David Seaman, who got his angles right.
Faintest of touches.
Viltord. Lauren. That's good football again by Arsenal, and Lauren doing well. Viltord, Henry, not a great ball from Thierry Henry. Samuel easily intercepted.
I think it took an unfortunate kick off the pitch, to be honest with you. I did see Thierry Henry giving the pitch a scowl.
Well, Arsene Wenger has complained about that. Here's Batistuta. Mistake by Adams, but through to Ashley Cole. News of Matthew Upson, by the way. He's out with an ankle injury, picked up against Real Mallorca on Monday night. Here's Batistuta. Lovely touch. And that's what Sol Campbell can expect in the coming months, playing for Arsenal in the Champions League.
Batistuta's so dangerous. He takes hardly any part in the build-up, but he's always on his shoulder when the ball comes in.
Condelat, Batistuta available. All 11 Arsenal players behind the ball at the moment. Sevilla. Here's his chance again for Gabriel Batistuta. Ran into the man mountain of Sol Campbell.
I think we're also going to be fair to Campbell and say he missed a lot of games at the end of last season with injury, and he might be a little bit behind the other players when it comes to fitness at the moment.
Yeah, it was suggested to me, Joe, that Sol Campbell would perhaps play an hour of this game, but he's played 10 minutes of football for Arsenal prior to this match. Coming in as a late substitute against Mallorca, and he hasn't done a lot of pre-season training because of the injury picked up playing for Spurs against Arsenal in last season's FA Cup semi-final. Totti's been very impressive tonight, hasn't he?
Great ability, great talent, and playing in that lovely free role that players love with ability. Not too many defensive duties, he just gets back and fills a space somewhere, but certainly he's always free when the ball comes and likely to do something with it. Arsene's on the touchline remonstrating with the referee here, so you can tell he's keen to win this game. This is no stroll in the evening heat for him.
Viltord has Sevilla for company, and Condelat. Lauren arriving. Perez. Great vision to pick out Ashley Cole. Guigu gets it out. Came off Assunção. Throw into Arsenal. You've just joined us. You're watching a prestige pre-season friendly from Katzenberg in Austria. Arsenal against Roma. And here's Montella now for Roma. Totti, the captain of Roma. Montella's made a good run. He's gone in behind Lauren, but David Seaman read that one perfectly. Perez. Oh, great ball through, but Arsenal offside.
Very close decision and nearly the ball of the game so far. Certainly Perez has been impressive in a less familiar role in the inside right position.
Montella offside.
As we see so often at the highest level, both sides playing on the break with a slower build-up at times and then players breaking forward from midfield.
Viltor coming away from Samuel. This is Henry. Patrick Vieira now in towards Ljungberg. Gianni Guigu with a particularly effective clearance. And Van Bronckhorst at the back post has won a corner kick for the Gunners. Uruguayan Guigu got himself in a real mess here, didn't he?
Uncharacteristic Italian defending, really. Arsenal are a big team now, and it could be a big play for them this year from corners and free kicks. Certainly with Campbell, Adams, Vieira, all giants.
It's going to be an out-swinging corner here for Arsenal. Campbell wasn't too far away from a debut goal for Arsenal. Sol Campbell, I think it hit his shoulder.
Looked a great chance, Gary. You know, we'd have to see it again, but it looked almost like a free header, really. No, not quite. He was under challenge.
Guigu. Totti. A couple of times now, Vieira's just swatted Totti in midfield.
I don't think he'll be the last.
Samuel. Perez. Vieira. Viltor got away from Condela. Really are so many Frenchmen on the park, it's baffling at times. Here's Henry, another one. Runs into another Frenchman, Jonathan Sabina.
Again, a terrific crossfield ball, and Henry's nearly in. It's an uncharacteristic first touch from him, but a great chance.
Pellizzoli. This, incidentally, Arsenal's fourth pre-season game. Their only defeat in the previous three. It's come against a Turkish second division team, Kocaelispor, where they lost by 4-1 when, by their own admission, they weren't fully fit.
Tony Adams there just giving Perez a little flea in his ear about his defensive duties. He certainly didn't get to Totti quick enough to stop the through ball.
Incidentally, after today, Arsenal have 2 further pre-season friendlies. They go to Norwich next Tuesday, and they go to Barnet a week on Saturday, and then that's it. They're ready for their opening game away to Middlesbrough. Loudon, goal kick. Loudon was looking for a corner kick off Vincent Condela. He's had quite a tussle with Vicente Lizarazu for the left-back spot in the French national team. Was animated Fabio Capello. But he has had terrific success, especially with the Milan team of the mid-90s. Went to Real Madrid and won the championship there in Spain. Ashley Cole. Henry. Tomasi. Totti. Tomasi went for the return, but David Seaman spread himself well. They really are still very impressed with David Seaman. He might have real competition now with Wright having joined from Ipswich, but he's still a highly impressive goalkeeper.
You can hear the buzz around the ground with Henry's tremendous pace.
Sol Campbell penalised for having his studs a bit too high. They'll be higher than that in the North London derby, I can assure you.
I don't think they'll need the ball for that one.
Incidentally, that first meeting of Tottenham and Arsenal doesn't take place till November, so Sol Campbell will have a chance to bed into the Arsenal defence.
He looks a little bit ring rusty at the moment, he does. Again, he gave the ball away just before and put Arsenal in trouble.
Vieira. Perez picking out Lauren. And Arsenal just playing with one up front tonight. Thierry Henry, Lauren doing well. Great tackle though, covering tackle, I think, by Sevilla to just slide the ball out of harm's way. So Arsenal have a corner. Campbell almost made contact with that driven corner kick. Tony Adams. Vieira. He just hates to lose possession. Batistuta dispossessed by Sol Campbell. Perez trying to lose to Marcy. Well, there's certainly a competitive edge to this game, and Condela didn't relish that challenge by Lauren. Here's Assunção, has had a very quiet game in midfield. He's given the ball to Vieira. Arsenal just trying to sneak a goal before the break. Ljungberg. Vieira. Loudon. Campbell, well, he thought about turning backwards. He's stepped away from two and he went into that challenge with Tomasi, with both feet showing that.
Got himself in a little bit of trouble there. Again, a yard short off the pace with the rest of the players on the pitch. And as you look at it now, with only 2 pre-season friendlies left, I'm sure that Arsenal is thinking really about whether Martin Keown was a little bit further forward in condition at this stage.
But of course, Keown might be suspended for the opening 3 games of the season after facing a FA disciplinary charge for violent conduct in the match against Leeds last season. So he might be without Keown for the opening 3 games.
In that case, he'll be fit.
Montella. Incidentally, Martin Keown picked up a facial knock in the last game against Real Mallorca and had 2 stitches in his nose. That's why he's not available for the starting 11 for Arsene Wenger's team tonight. Tomasi, Montella, Batistuta. Tomasi, I thought, fouled Viltord then, but the referee waved play on. Loudon. He really has had an impressive first half here for Arsenal. Trying to pick out Ljungberg.
I think you're right, Gary. I think Loudon's the big ball.
Ljungberg with a shot. It wasn't too far away. And Freddie Ljungberg has had a couple of good opportunities in this first half to hit the target. This one was certainly harder than the first one. Got away from Guigu. Nice curling shot. Meanwhile, Batistuta at the other end. What a clearance. But that's going to count. Montella. Goal.
So typical Batistuta, on his shoulder, moving away, clever movement. Debatable offside, but certainly close enough to give the forward the benefit of the doubt. And a great save from Tony Adams in getting back.
Burnham's made an incredible block here to hook the ball back across against the crossbar. Montella was in the right place at the right time. And a man who's come on and scored so many important goals for Roma. Scored one here for them. And Roma lead just before the break. And that goal by Montella, the last action of the first half, where Arsenal have come close, but it's Montella's goal which separates the teams at the break. We'll be hearing from Pat Nevin and Steve after the interval for the half-time score from Austria. Is Arsenal 0, Roma 1.
Well, predatory animals, a bit like Batistuta and Totti tonight. They've been running the rings round Arsenal, haven't they? Montella's goal separates them and Arsenal, and I suppose, Pat, they deserve to be ahead, don't they?
They do. They actually started very, very well. There was a like 10-minute period where Arsenal done quite well, but I really thought all the way through it, Totti was looking very, very dangerous. And as I said when we came back to us here during the game, give Batistuta half a chance and he'll cause all sorts of problems for you.
OK, well, let's crack on with the emails, and thank you, everyone, for sending them in. The first one comes from Robert Patwell. He says, I'm an avid Arsenal fan, and I really am sick to death of papers and commentators alike saying Man United have already won the title, they have brought 2 wonderful players, but we already have better with Henry and Vieira in similar positions. I think Wenger has done brilliantly in the transfer market. Well, Pat, would you agree? These are the chances tonight.
Yeah, I think, well, in Vieira they've got someone who could play at the top level anywhere. He played in the Confederations Cup in the summer. It was wonderful. It was 5 minutes into this, and that was a great piece of play, and should have scored that goal there. You know, he's tackled it, he's broke up the play, he's ran forward, and he's played a slide rule pass, and wonderful. They need more like him. Van Bronckhorst, this is his first bit of class that he's showed in this game. There's plenty of that up in Scotland. And in
yeah, for those of us who don't know him, in England, that's what he does.
He does. He's got the sweetest of left feet, and but then again, most people with left feet are very, very sweet strikers of the ball, but he is exceptionally good at that.
OK, well, our next email comes from Shane from Bristol. He says, I think Arsenal have made a mistake by signing Sol Campbell, although he is a good defender and English at that. Since the Argentina game in the World Cup, he's gone downhill as a Manchester United fan. Well, you would be from Bristol, Shane, wouldn't you? I'm glad we pulled out of the race to sign him. Controversial. Yeah,
fairly controversial, but the fact that I think they'd have taken it if they could have got him, but and that's him and Batistuta making sure he knew he was there.
That's all he's saying, though, isn't it?
Well, quite simply, Man United are the team to be caught. Simple as that. But I think the team that are capable of catching more than anyone else is probably Liverpool. This is a great piece of play here by Totti. I thought it was wonderful all the way through that, but he twisted and turned the Arsenal defence there.
Made Campbell look naive there.
He certainly did, but I mean, he is a quality player, and Campbell looked a wee bit clumsy there. Got inside him, and it was a wonderful, tiny little fingertip stage. This was even worse. The ball played into the middle. No marking whatsoever. That was absolutely awful. Now, you could argue, Campbell could maybe argue that it wasn't my man, because he should be on Batistuta. But in actual fact, he should be marshalling the defence along with Adams, and you don't give a free header from 5 yards out.
No, I mean, Arsenal in days gone by, you wouldn't see 3 defenders like that just standing ball watching, would you?
Yeah, they're learning. They're learning together. There's a few times through the game they actually tried to go for offsides. The old Arsenal arm was going up quite a few times, and I think that's what cost them in the end. But they're learning to play with each other. I mean, he's just new on the scene, as Joe Royle was mentioning that. Campbell's had a few injuries as well, so you know, there's a little while before the start of the season, but they need to get it together quickly. We know that,
Pat, Arsenal changed their tactics or changed their formations tonight, the way they're going to play it to combat Totti. It hasn't really worked for them, has it?
And it's always the case if you actually try and combat that, you show that you fear it, and because you fear it, the player, he'll know himself that. So all the way through the game, he was picking the ball up in dangerous positions. You know, no one's going to him there, and it wasn't a great shot there, but he kept on picking it up in very, very difficult areas. But, you know, and he's wonderful. It's been a masterclass throughout this game of how to play that position. Dropping just behind Vieira. Vieira a few times has hit him, but in actual fact he's got an awful lot of space there. It's been a masterclass in how to play the classic number 10 role in the hole.
And we picked out Totti before the game, we picked out Batistuta. One person we didn't really talk about was Montella, and it's his goal that separates the sides.
Yeah, I know, and Montella, it has to be said that he's got a fantastic scoring record all the way through his career. I think this may well have been there. We just caught the end, we missed the start of that move there, but it looked like an offside move, and Campbell had moved out, and I'm not too sure if the linesman got it right or wrong, but You know, Adams was very, very unlucky there to get back. Thought it was over the line, but again, this could well be the two centre-backs. You can see just in that position there, they're very, very far apart, and you really don't want your two centre-backs to be split that far apart. And it did look slightly naive, but again, these people are going to start having to learn to work together, and they're playing against the best here. Yeah, and that's what these games are all about. Right, we can cross over to Austria now and hear from Alex Meninga. He's been in the news a lot this week, isn't it? Possible transfer to Fiorentina. Here's what he thought of the first half.
Well, Alex, back on home soil tonight, what have you made of that first half?
Well, I think we're seeing a good football game, and it's just a bit of shame that we conceded the goal in the last 5 seconds.
Arsenal have played very competitive. It doesn't seem like a friendly.
No, it's true. I think the quality is already very high, and considering we are 10 days in a hard camp, so I think it's good football, yeah.
One final point, the Arsenal players look extremely fit. A lot of hard work been going on here.
Of course, yeah, it's very intensive, and I think the boss gets exactly right what we need, you know, a lot of good work, and the game is just right now, yeah.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Right, we're going to take a short break now. When we come back, our competition, well, I'll give that to you, and also, of course, the second half. Don't miss it. See you in a moment. So all you have to do. In Austria, Arsenal a goal down. Time to hand back to Joe Royal. First, Gary Bloom with news of any substitutions.
Yes, plenty of substitutions, Steve. We'll try and bring you up to date with most of them. Roma are the team who've made the more serious substitutions. I think 3 or 4. We're just confirming that. But Arsenal, more importantly, have made a switch. Sol Campbell has gone off at half-time to be replaced by Oleg Lushny. So just one change for Arsenal that we can see so far. We had heard that Gabriel Batistuta was going to be substituted at half-time, but he's reappeared for the second half. They certainly have taken off the goal scorer Montella and replaced him with Marco Del Vecchio. The Austrian official just pausing before restarting the game. We're just hearing news that Francesco Totti may not have reappeared for the second half. Try and confirm that for you in a moment. Certainly Tomic is on in the second period, and another one of Roma's new signings. And it's Arsenal who restart the game. A goal down, remember. The goal scorer has been substituted, Vincenzo Montella.
Arsenal have gone to the more conventional 4-4-2 with Viltard upsides Henry, obviously feeling they lacked a little bit of punch first half. And whilst they look promising on the break at times, it's goals away from home that Arsenal lead next season to mount a challenge.
This is Tomic who's just come on. Batistuta stumbled under the challenge of Tony Adams, and he was looking for a free kick. Nothing doing. This is Henry. Ljungberg taking on Guigu. Walter Samuel. Handball against Gabriel Batistuta. Yeah, there was a slight use of the arm there by Batigo. He used his Batty hand. Headed on by Tomic. 15 here is Francesco Lima, who's recently joined the club. Guigu. Tomic, Samuel. 15 is Lima, given away once again to Arsenal. Vieira making a break here from midfield. Breaks off Sabina. Lima. Cole. Thornburgh. Just wonder whether so many substitutions are going to disrupt Roma here, Joe.
No, they all look top-class players, and they've just adjusted the system a little bit. Without Totti in the hole, they're just playing more of a two up front themselves now.
Cole. Sabina. So Roma have made 4 changes at the break. Sevilla, Assunção, Montella and Totti have all disappeared. All would be hoping to gain regular first-team chances for Roma next season. Guigu. Tomic.
I must say, Gary, that while our main interest is Arsenal, of course, that Walter Samuel at the back for Roma has been outstanding, and he never seems flustered. He's always in the right place, and looks a complete defender to me.
Just going back to Sol Campbell's disappearance at half-time, you did say as soon as he went off there, Joe, he looks very tired.
Yes, he does, and he's behind in his fitness, and he's had a calf injury as well, which is always hard to clear up. But we know he's a proven product in the English Premiership, but they've just got to make sure, Arsenal, that he's really fit when they play him. But if, as you say, that Keown could be missing for the first game, it could give them a big problem in the centre of their defence.
Guigu. Seen in with a very confident shout. The pronunciation of the Arsenal right back has been queried at half-time. I was instructed many months ago it was Lauren, but I've heard him called Lauren as well, but he isn't French. Jenny Guigu had some trouble getting the tongue round his name a little while ago. Uruguayan, who plays on the right-hand side for Roma. 14 is Lassie C, who's playing as the left-sided defender for Roma in the second half. Ljungberg trying to get away from Guigu, but he's overrun the ball. Freddie Ljungberg had a couple of really good chances in the first half, and just after he lifted a shot wide, Montella scored for Roma. Tomasi. Vieira. Viltord. Found it difficult to keep his feet on this playing surface. Good skill there by Francisco Lima, who's just arrived from Bologna for £4.5 million. Exciting young Brazilian. Batistuta won the ball, but he's guilty of doing some pushing, I think, on Muzhny. Player nicknamed the Horse, a real strong central defender, Ukrainian international. Henry. Cole. Cole again. Rattle the balls against the shins there of Jonathan Sabina. How highly do you rate this young England left-back, Ashley Cole?
Well, he's coming a long way in a short time, really. I think he initially broke through at Crystal Palace on loan, but Arsenal always knew, of course, that he had top-class potential. And in a position where we've been short for a number of years now, he looks set to stay for a long time.
Tomasi and Ljungberg getting to grips with each other. Corner to Arsenal. Well, the goalkeeper was scrambling to cover the shot from Patrick Vieira, the header rather from Vieira. Nobody spotted Vieira's run. I think he climbed all over his countryman Condela there.
They are a very, very big side, Arsenal, and I can see them doing very well this year from corners and free kicks.
Samuel sort of pick out Batistuta, but Adams is there first. Allowed the ball to run towards Cole. That's a great turn by Cole, and he was being fouled by Gabriel Batistuta. Cole, chased here by Tomic. This is Ljungberg. Taking away from Jenny Guigu. There's Van Bronckhorst. Vieira. Oh, given away to Marco Del Vecchio. Marco Del Vecchio, who scored in the final of Euro 2000 for Italy.
The Italians are very impressive, Gary, when you think of the quality of player that they have to come. If this is a side with a quarter of their best players missing, they again are going to be a force in Europe.
Yeah, it's just to underline what Joe's saying. Cafu, Zago and Emerson, the three Brazilians, all left back home in Rome as Arsenal attack here. And poor save out of Pellizzoli from Lauren. Zabina.
I think Van Bronckhorst's been a little bit quiet. You know, he's still bedding himself in, obviously, getting to know Arsenal's ways. Showed glimpses of talent and a terrific free kick that we saw, but still you'd expect a little bit more from him in the actual midfield engine room.
Van Bronckhorst stabbed through here towards Pellizzoli. Sabina. Ljungberg made a very good challenge there. 17 here is Ashley Cole. Tomic had to slide in and win the ball there. Tomic has just rejoined Roma after a terrific year on loan to Alaves, who reached the UEFA Cup final. Ashley Cole. Giovanni Van Bronckhorst. Adams picking out Cole again. Good touch by Cole, but picked up by Tomic. Here's Walter Samuel. Foul by Lauren. Free kick to Roma. Ray Train, who is the first team scout for Middlesbrough, and of course Arsenal go to Middlesbrough on the opening day of the new Premiership season.
Und damit also wirklich der steirische Festtag heute komplett ist, der K gegen den FC Kärnten 5:0.
Cole. Vieira. Perez. Neat passing movement here by Arsenal. Oh, it almost came through to Viltord, who was on the back post. This is Tomasi. Fouled by Vieira. That's happened a few times now. The referee just having a quiet word in Vieira's ear. Meanwhile, Guigu leads the attack here for Roma. Tomic, Batistuta. Probably the most famous Argentine footballer since a certain Diego Maradona.
I wonder if Arsene Wenger's considering giving young Jeffers a run, because whilst Arsenal have threatened, and certainly Henry looks electric, they haven't really threatened goal too much. And, you know, they look a threat rather than being a threat at the moment. So it might be a time to give young Jeffers a go, who certainly is a goal thief.
Well, the referee got in the way there. Van Bronckhorst was fouled by Walter Samuel. He really has replaced Aldair in the Roma defence. Aldair currently out with a knee injury, still on the books of Roma. 8 here is Freddie Ljungberg. Ljungberg scored plenty of goals towards the end of last season, including the FA Cup final. Adams, flicked on by Viltord, and all the way through to Pellizzoli. Lassisi. Guigu. Sabina. Tomasi. Mistake by Loudon. It's gone all the way through to Marco Del Vecchio, who actually dyed his hair when Roma won the championship at the end of last season, along with one or two of his teammates. Tomasi, isolated in midfield. Henry gets back. He was caught very late by Giovanni van Bronckhorst, and it's broken here to Ljungberg. Henry, Loudon.
Again, Roma hunting in pairs, closing the ball down very well, winning in midfield, giving a foul away this time, but they're looking to get back at Arsenal on the break.
Cole.
Very hard to break down when there's three centre-backs defending deep and giving you nowhere to play. And you see then again Walter Samuel just patrolling the ball through to his own goalkeeper.
Loudon. Batistuta. Oh, that's a lovely turn by Batistuta, and he was clobbered there by Luzhny. Fabio Capello's remonstrating on the touchline.
I like to see it again. I know Batistuta's crafty. It may or may not have been a foul.
Henry, good skill by the Frenchman. He was crowded out, and now the free kick's gone to Arsenal, which has just increased Roma's frustration. So, dangerous situation here for Arsenal. Thierry Henry, oh, clever idea. Cole took a deflection, flew across the face of goal, and it's gone out for a throw into Arsenal. Good idea there. Ashley Cole just took a very clever position just to the left of Henry.
Defender got back very well just to put him under pressure and take away the quality of the cross.
Luzhny, Henry waiting inside the box as Arsenal are pushed ever backwards, and all the way back to Tony Adams. We've had an email from Kevin Jones of Bolton, Joe, and he said, in your heyday, how would you have fancied playing alongside Thierry Henry?
Certainly would have been a decent foil. His pace would have given me a bit of room, I'm sure. But he looks a terrific player. But as they say, you know, he's the only striker at Arsenal that got double figures in league goals last year, and that's probably why they were really just contenders instead of serious challengers.
Meanwhile, here's Cole for Arsenal. Ran into the challenge of Jonathan Zabina.
I think Todd Grip will be delighted with the form and the fitness of young Cole.
For so long, the left-back position for England was a problem, but suddenly they have a very adequate young man who can hold that position down for many years to come. It's Van Bronckhorst with the corner. Pellizzoli stayed on his line, rather surprisingly. Thumping drive from Cole, and it's done its damage. Well, he was speaking to Ashley Cole in French then. I heard the final word, and it wasn't a particularly pleasant one. And I think he was complaining that Cole didn't apologise for whacking the ball into a rather delicate part of his anatomy.
Couldn't have been that bad if he had the breath to say anything.
Tomic and Henry disputing possession. Here's Vincent Condela. Foul by Lauren on Lima. Lauren, the Cameroon international. Now there's a break on for Arsenal, and Pires was upended.
It looked like Lassisi that brought him down. Certainly was blocked up. He was the meat in the sandwich there.
One French defender denies a French attacker. Salou Lassisi, signed from Parma this summer for £6 million. He was on loan to Fiorentina last season. Fabio Capello said he just lacks a bit of concentration at times, but he was... That is all his shares at home there, didn't he? I think Van Bronckhorst is going to try a long-range effort here for Arsenal. Here he comes. Vieira. Arsenal were offside.
Well, he was certainly ambitious, but he did show the power in his left foot the first half to at least try that.
To Marcy. Well, he's left the ball behind. Arsenal just looking a little bit threatening the last 5 minutes. Ljungberg, lovely turn. Pellizzoli, good save.
Great moment, a good dummy, and Ljungberg turning and not getting full power behind the ball, but enough accuracy to make the goalkeeper make a save.
He's looked impressive tonight, hasn't he, Joe?
He's very quick, he's deceptively quick, and I know that Arsenal's very pleased with him. As a player who came really as a stock player, he's forced himself well into the first team squad.
Arsenal have the corner. They're a goal behind. Adams. Pellizzoli was a giant goalkeeper. You see why he's rated so highly in the Italian national setup. Viltord. Ljungberg almost picked out Van Bronckhorst, who's taken it off Tomic. Henry. Good old spell this for Arsenal.
Yes, Arsenal putting a bit of pressure on now, and the Italians again showing that they can defend. I don't think they've looked quite right since Montella's gone off.
Well, Gabriel Batistuta has hardly seen the football, and here's Pires. Tried to pick out Laura, and it's intercepted easily by Vincent Condela. Look at that for skill.
Doesn't seem to be much movement on the Arsenal bench, which would indicate really he wants to give them, most of them, a full game here. So it could well be the strong basis of Arsenal's first game.
Tomic, Batistuta, Tomic again. He's just pulled it wide. Good interplay between Batistuta and the substitute, Ivan Tomic, the Yugoslav international. Not expected to win a regular first-team place for Roma, but pretty useful chap to have in your squad. Cole. Van Bronckhorst. Condela, Batistuta all the way through to David Seaman. Batistuta just seems to be limping slightly there. Henry. Samuel once again slid in. We can hear once again from our studio guest Pat Nevin. Pat, can you see an Arsenal equaliser on the horizon?
Well, they seem more likely just now than certainly opposition, because they've not started off well at all, the Italians. I mean, they have had 4 players off, so there's a bit of reorganisation to be done, and Arsenal, of course, have only made 1 change, but the tempo hasn't been as quick as the first half, but very noticeably, most of the game, has been Arsenal attacking if they haven't created too many clear chances.
Here's Perez, cleared by Walter Samuel. Many thanks, Pat. Don't forget, you can email your comments or questions to Pat on our email address, football@channel5.co.uk. Any thoughts, comments to Pat? football@channel5.co.uk. Lauren. Pellizzoli. Batistuta took a ride on the back of Tony Adams. Incidentally, Roma have been widely touted as looking for another central defender. They tried to wrest Fabio Cannavaro away from Parma, but he decided to stay with the Parma club. They really had banked on Cannavaro joining them, and were hugely disappointed when that didn't happen. Van Bronckhorst. Henry. Under pressure from his international colleague Vincent Condela. Bit of pushing and shoving going on, and the decision has gone Arsenal's way. I thought it was going to be a free kick to Roma to start with.
Yes, it looks
Francis
like
Jeffers and Pat Rice deep in discussion.
Well, we'll see who he comes on for. I would bet for Wiltord.
Free kick to Arsenal. Pellizzoli with an easy catch.
Again, the keeper looks very impressive, and I must say also that Tomasi's had a great game amongst all the stars, doing all the work and the, you know, the nuts and bolts for the players who need that kind of grafter with them.
Indeed, Damiano Tomasi's form last season made sure he was catapulted back into the Italian national team. He played in virtually every league game for Roma last season. I think Arsenal are going to make a couple of changes, and certainly Roma are going to make one as well. Abel Balbo, the Argentine international, will be on very shortly. There's the Arsenal players, Gilles Grimondi and Francis Jeffers.
Certainly Jeffers will go up front, and I'm sure that Wiltord will come into a wider position.
Van Bronckhorst and Ljungberg are the players who make way. And it's one Argentine striker replacing another for Roma. Gabriel Batistuta goes off to be replaced by Abel Balbo.
C'era il cambio per gli italiani, è venuto col numero 16 Abel Balbo.
Perez. Adams.
More of a 4-3-3 now for Arsenal, trying to get that equaliser with the two wider players and Jeffers through the middle, really. Well, he's a terrific young striker in so much as he's got great movement and a great goal sense. What he has had problems with is injuries, really. He's not played as many games you would have liked. And at this stage, you've got to say it's a great sale by Everton. That could be a fantastic signing by Arsenal.
Probably gathered Joe was talking about Francis Jeffers, who's just come on as a substitute for Arsenal.
Very clever player, makes great runs around the box.
Gilles Grimondi. You actually brought him to Everton, didn't you, Joe?
Well, I didn't actually bring him. I was manager when we signed him, and I knew all about Francis, and we knew we had an exceptional talent, and he's come on really well, but he has been somewhat blighted by injuries.
Wiltord. Lauren. Wiltord again. Walter Samuel doing the covering job there for Roma. Condela. Do you think Francis Jeffers will find it easy to settle in London after being so much a Liverpool boy for so many years?
Well, I think it's a good thing for him, you know, a complete change. You see there already setting off towards goal, but these are outstanding defenders he's playing against. This will be a big learning curve for him tonight. As we said earlier on, I've been tremendously impressed with Walter Samuel, and if he can certainly get a chance or even better a goal against him, it'll be a great start for the kid.
Gilles Grimondi with the covering job. I think it surprised a lot of Everton fans, Joe, that Francis Jeffers refused to sign a new contract and said he wanted to leave the club. They thought he was Evertonian through and through. Real blue nose, as they call them up there.
Well, I think he is, and you know, the chance of a move to a club like Arsenal, who are going to be contesting trophies this year, you know, when it might be a couple of years off for Everton, hopefully. But it was a big move. But Everton also needed the cash at the moment. It's well known that Everton do need a cash influx at the moment, and Walter Smith's taken the move. You know, for a lad who only played 14 games last year, a fee that's supposed to be the fee that's supposed to be 7 or 8 million is a terrific sale.
Now, Patrick Vieira was caught here by Abel Balbo. The free kick was indicated to Arsenal. The ball ended up in the back of the Arsenal net. It didn't count.
Again, Tomasi heavily involved. He's been terrific tonight.
He really is the man who runs the Roma engine room. And not only that, but greases the pistons as well. Del Vecchio. Marco Del Vecchio here for Roma. He went to ground looking for a penalty kick. Nothing doing from the Austrian official. This is Luzhny. Guigu. Perez. Turned back in the end by Salou Lassisi. Was it a penalty?
No, I don't think so. I think he got a touch on the ball, and certainly Tony Adams' famous innocent hands there would tell you there was nothing wrong at all.
Great excitement about the Roma club after the side won the championship. That was a rather strange header by Zabina. Perez has gone down. Again, the referee tells Perez to get up. And then he almost pinches the ball back from Zabina. Pellizzoli to the rescue. The Roma fans have waited patiently for their side to claim the championship. An 18-year wait. Here's Ashley Cole now for Arsenal. Thierry Henry. Jeffers. Came off Lassisi.
Yes, he's got a shot in there, Jeffers, and that's what he's about, a quick control and a shot in the box. But you'll see earlier on Cole going down the left, and when both strikers were looking for a near post cross, made their runs and the ball didn't come, and there's nothing more frustrating for front players than that.
I think this is a shot on goal by Henry, wasn't it? Meanwhile, Arsenal have a corner kick as Jeffers waits for the cross, closely watched by Pellizzoli. Well, they all missed it there. Adams almost scooped the ball in. Abel Balbo, who was knocking around the Argentine national team 11 years ago. Tomasi. Led by Seaman, it almost struck Tomasi then. That one stabbed forward again by Abel Balbo, but Del Vecchio is offside. And he doesn't look too happy, Fabio Capello, because Del Vecchio made no attempt to retreat into an onside position.
I think their excitement level in Japan is just going to go into overdrive.
We'll give you news of that substitution in a moment. But if I told you that the Katzenberg has been besieged by camera crews from Japan, I'm sure you'll understand about a certain Inamoto who has just joined Arsenal from Japanese football. They tried to get Hidetoshi Nakata from Roma. He went to Parma. And they got one of his international teammates, Inamoto, central midfield player. And it's very shortly Lauren, I think, is going to come off. The Cameroon international has had such a good game at right back. He is likely to be a regular in that position now for Arsenal. Just suggesting he might have picked up a groin injury there, the way he's indicating to Gary Lewin on the Arsenal bench. And Jermaine Pennant will come on very shortly as well. So Inamoto on, and there's Jermaine Pennant, young man still learning his trade at Arsenal. He normally plays as a right-sided midfield player. Perez. Inamoto came to prominence at the Confederations Cup, which we brought you on Channel 5, playing for his country. Here's Marco Del Vecchio. Lovely cross. That's a very good piece of covering.
I'm surprised there Del Vecchio didn't cut in himself and shoot. Probably because he's a left-footed player. No, it was really a right-footed shot. But here, he's got a good angle, really, to go for a goal and fire it across with his right foot.
Luzhny with a covering challenge, getting the ball away. Antonio Cassano amongst the Roma bench there. Cost the club £17 million, the most exciting young talent in Italian football at the moment, who's currently injured. This is Guigu. Oh, they didn't like that. Inamoto's made a very hefty challenge. Surprised he didn't apologise Japanese style here to Gianni Guigu.
I will put that down to inexperience, really, and excitement.
He'll become the first Japanese player ever to play in the Premiership. That's Cassano with the peroxide hair.
I think we must say the referee's done very well overall. He's been lenient both ways. He's let things go and made a good game of it.
Guigu. There's an Arsenal player knocked over there. It's Tony Adams.
Takes some doing. Again, it was our fellow Walter Samuel. Very strong challenge at the far post.
And that's Fabio Capello, you can hear screaming to his team. This is Jeffers. Challenged by Tomasi. Jermaine Pennant taking a painful knock. Totti seems to be showered already, doesn't he? I think it's Cassano who's interesting the Italian director. Free kick to Arsenal. Can they find an equaliser? Almost. And eventually it's cleared virtually from the goal line. Luzhny now for Arsenal.
That's a fantastic save by Pelizzoli. For a big man, he got down exceptionally quick, because that looks an equaliser all over. You see, it's a good delivery, and I'm not sure. I think it might be actually Ashley Cole who's got round the back. He's got down exceptionally quick.
I think Jeffers has been penalised now. It was a very good header in the end by Ashley Cole, who came around the blind side of the Roma defence. Again, Tour Grip must be absolutely delighted they found a left-back of his stature and his confidence for such a young player. Here's Cole again. Sure, favourable reports will be heading back to Sven-Göran Eriksson. England have a friendly against Holland coming up at White Hart Lane. Interesting to see if Sol Campbell plays in that game. Henry. Oh, Pellizzoli almost fooled by Jeffer's run there. I think he expected a little header there from the new recruit.
I think Jeffers was making a decoy run for somebody else really, and was quite surprised when it came within reach of him, because certainly a flicked head, a touch of the ball then might have been dangerous.
A little bit of pressure that Arsenal seemed to exert on Roma at the start of the second half seems to have waned slightly. And it's Del Vecchio and Balbo who are caught offside between them. I think it was Del Vecchio who had a chance to look right along the line there and still managed to get himself offside. Liverpool fans may recall Del Vecchio had a couple of really good chances to score against Liverpool in the Olympic Stadium in Rome last season in the UEFA Cup. Here he is again. Picks out Condela. Balbo in a motor. Cole. Tony Adams here for Arsenal in a moto. Condela to Marcy. Guigu's made a run down the right. Terrific spot by Ashley Cole to cut out the ball. Vieira. Whistle's gone. Of course, both these sides will want to do well in next season's Champions League. First Champions League match day, September the 11th and 12th. Arsenal looking to go that little step further in the competition. Their progress halted by Valencia in the quarter-finals last season.
At this stage you would see that Roma have just about seen Arsenal's challenge off really. They look very comfortable in it. I mean, Arsene Wenger will be pleased. It's been a great fitness run, and certainly Ashley Cole has been outstanding, and over the whole game been their best player for sure. But a little bit more goal threat needed up front probably.
He's been outstanding for Roma, hasn't he? Tomasi.
Tomasi's been outstanding. Tomasi, Walter Samuel, keep using the same names, but they haven't had a weakness. Candela hasn't done much wrong either. They press that well in midfield that they almost defy you to play long balls and try and run away from them. And of course, when you've got sprinters at the back like Roma have, it's very, very hard. Very, very hard for strikers to play against the three centre-backs.
This will be the period of the match where some of these Arsenal legs are bound to get tired.
Vieira first half was outstanding, and Perez has shown exceptional moments also. I mean, the big good things, and Tony Adams also looks like he's back to his best fitness. David Seaman hasn't had a lot to do, but again looks fit and slim and ready for the new season. So again, Arsenal will be, I'm sure, the major challenger to, of course, Manchester United.
3 seasons now, Joe, they've finished as runners-up in the Premiership. Is this the season they can wrest that title away from Old Trafford?
Well, I think it'll be good for the game, you know, if somebody did get nearer to United. I mean, they won in a packed canter last year and actually cruised through the last couple of months of the season. So we don't want that situation again for the benefit of the game. But with United's 2 pre-season signings, you know, they're going to look pretty imposing, really. But Arsenal can run them close. I mean, on their best form, they certainly weren't that far behind United.
Can you see anybody else being close?
Well, the obvious names, Liverpool, Leeds, and some people maybe talk about Chelsea, although I still see Chelsea mostly as a cup team. But they have a terrific squad, and they've got a couple of new midfielders to bed in.
Henry. Peculiar ball. Lushny has to help him out here. Oh, Lushny with the header. Seaman hasn't got there. Oh dear.
A little bit of misunderstanding there. Seaman caught a little bit in no man's land, and Lushny played a safe header to the side, but looked a little bit more dangerous than it was.
Well, it was almost an own goal of epic proportions there by Lushny, who's just smiling about it.
Roma in no hurry to take the free kick. Now, it's been a great workout for both sides.
Guigu, Tomic. Guigu again. That's rather overcooked.
Sure, he scored at Anfield last year, but he's certainly a better striker now.
You're absolutely right. He scored against Liverpool in that UEFA Cup epic when Liverpool played Roma. Came on and scored a great goal. Lushny. Will be 2 minutes of stoppage time then. Vieira, oh, him and Tomasi really have got on each other's nerves.
A little bit of a flash there, and Vieira's got to watch that, because he certainly has a short fuse, and there was a hint of an elbow coming out there, and you don't want to see that kind of thing at all, particularly in the pre-season friendly. But Tomasi's been very effective tonight, and we can see now why he was voted the best midfield player in Italy last year.
Of course, Vieira was linked with a move to Manchester United in the summer months. Here's Jeffers. Good challenge by Samuel. Wonder if the Arsenal fans will forgive him that.
Well, being linked's one thing and going there's another thing. I think they'll just be all delighted he's here. But if you think that he could have been there with Veron and Keane and Beckham and company, well, I think we could have suspended the betting.
Pires, can Arsenal just pinch an equaliser here in the last few minutes? The Roma goal came very late at the end of the first half, scored by Vincenzo Montella. Henry, and Arsenal do have a corner kick conceded by Saliou Lassisi.
Well, 1 minute to go, and Vieira's still surging forward as well as his defensive duties, so there's nothing wrong fitness-wise, and I'm sure there'll be challenges again this year.
Well, everybody bar Ashley Cole has come forward now for Arsenal for this late corner kick. Dropped in short to Grimondi. Pires. Vieira beaten in the air by Tomasi. Pires. Henry. Balbo back. Zabina back. Henry's lost them both. Guigu's lost it. Inamoto just helped the ball on.
Again, great work from Thierry, but in a wide position early. Got round the back and delivered across, but there's so many red shirts in there, it's going to be hard.
Adams, well, disappointingly given away to Lassisi. Jeffers chasing Pellizzoli, who was distracted rather slightly by the challenge of Jeffers. He'll put himself about. Adams playing as a midfield player now. Jeffers. Touch only lands at the feet of Tomic, away by Guigu. Henry. Tomic. Rattle the ball into Tomasi. And here's Balbo. Del Vecchio. Tony Adams says he went for the ball.
It's Marcy again. Great energy, breaking forward, defending on the edge of his own box, breaking forward, linking passes. Looks a terrific play.
The final whistle imminent now as Guigu sets up this late attack for Roma. Luzhny and Del Vecchio collided. And at full-time, Roma have their victory by the narrow margin of a goal to nil, scored by Vincenzo Montella. Arsenal tried in the second half to find an equaliser unsuccessfully. And they head back now to Luton this evening after a very, very good workout here in Austria.